Welcome to the University of Stirling campus, where tonight's stars of the show are our invertebrates. So welcome to another fresh, fabulous, feisty episode of Ottawa! Let's go and see Chris, who's setting up some pitfall traps.
I'm just about to set up the final trap. I've already set up 3 parallel transects in the woods. It's really important to set up more than a few traps, as this kind of survey is really going to only show us a sample of the invertebrates that we might find here. We looked at each trap individually. There'd be loads of variation between each one. That's too much to accurately record each one as a replicate. When we look at our findings, we'll assess each transect separately to give us 3 different replicates.
It's important to remember that while pitfall traps can give you a good idea of the types of species found here, they do have limitations. For example, pitfall traps can't be used to estimate population or overall species diversity.
That's a great point, Martin. I've set up 3 separate transects, each in a straight line. You can use a compass to find a bearing for these. I've put each trap 2 metres apart, and we want the transect to cover a good portion of the woods. We don't want them to be too far apart that we're going to miss lots of the invertebrates though. So I've set up 10 traps in each transect. So this is the 30th trap that I'm about to set up, and I'll show you how to do that right now. So we need to use a trowel to dig a small hole for the cup that we'll use as a trap. So we've done this already in this one here. You can also use an auger if you've got one of these in your shed at home. It does make the digging a lot easier. This was actually quite tiring. So we've got 2 cups here. You'll need the cup to be level with the ground. If it's sticking out, this will prevent the bugs from crawling inside.
This may look like 1 centimetre of plastic to you, but to a tiny invertebrate, it's a sheer cliff face.
We do normally use 2 cups when we do this, so you can pull out the upper cup so you don't get dirt stuck inside when you're trying to get it level with the ground. I'll just put that in now, just pop them both in. And then you just pull up the top one there, fill the soil around it so that it's going to be nice and flush with the ground there. So finally, we've got to put a small cover over the trap so other animals can't get into the trap and eat our finds, and also so the rain isn't going to contaminate them. Got a few spaces to do this and a wee plastic cover for it. You could use twigs in your garden at home if you haven't got stuff like this. They'll work perfectly fine. So just pop them close to the wee cup, you can see that there, and then you pop the tray over the top. So it's still going to let the invertebrates get under there, but other animals aren't going to get inside. You're not going to get rain in there. So that looks like a pretty good pitfall trap, would you say, Martin?
We've just had a question coming from Janet from Glasgow. Chris, do you ever find that invertebrates escape?
It's a great question, Janet. The walls of the cup are actually really steep and slippery, and normally enough so to prevent the bugs from actually crawling out. Actually, the main problem you can come across is bigger invertebrates eating the smaller ones. This does mean we're not able to get an accurate sample of what's actually living in the woods. If you're doing this as a scientific survey, you normally put a small amount of say antifreeze or alcohol into the bottom of each cup. This kills invertebrates before they potentially eat another catch. It's a really good idea to take a GPS reading, one of these, at the start and end point of each transect. You'd be surprised how different places can look a few days later. We normally leave the traps out for 3 to 4 days. They need to be out long enough to actually catch something, but you want to make sure you don't forget about them, because the pitfall trap does need to be checked at least once a week. When you're recording your finds, make sure to record each transect separately. You don't want to mix up traps in different transects. I do find it easiest to tip the contents of each trap into a tray and to mark each tray with which transect it is so you don't get confused.
Shall we have a look to see what we found? Chris set up a transect 2 days ago before we started filming, so we can see what we've caught.
Let's do this. So we've actually not caught anything in this cup. This can happen with pitfall trapping, so don't be disheartened if you don't actually find anything in the cups.
This kind of survey is just a rough representation of some of the invertebrates that we can find in this area, but we're never going to catch everything. It's probable we'll find a disproportionate amount of some invertebrates over others because of different activity levels and seasons and different weather conditions.
This is very true, Martin. Let's tip out this one. Looks like we've got a couple of spiders. It's maybe a different species just here.
Perhaps a woodlouse.
Let's have a look. Yeah, you're right. It's a woodlouse.
Back to you, Michaela.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Chris and Martin. Now, I have the absolute pleasure to be joined here today by the Chief Analyst of Invertebrates at University of Stirling, Mr. Stuart Bradley.
It's great to be here, Michaela.
But invertebrate identification is a bit difficult. Could you help us with that, Stuart?
And what have we got under here? Oh, Haribicus turcus. They're really good this time of year.
So we'd love to hear from you guys at home of what invertebrates you find in your pitfall traps, and then we'll share the best with you by the end of the week.
Join us tomorrow for another episode of
Otterwood!
Hey.